What does real confidence look like? Is it the loudest voice in the room, the person who demands attention, or the one who moves in silence but controls the space? Confidence isn't about showing off, it's about showing up. It's not measured by how many people notice you, but by how unshakable you are, even when no one's watching. Let's get this straight. Understated confidence isn't weakness. It's not hesitation. It's not shyness. It's the quiet force that moves mountains while others are busy making noise about moving pebbles. Imagine a lion walking through the jungle. It doesn't roar to prove it's the king. It doesn't announce its presence. It doesn't need to. Its power is understood without a single sound. That's confidence. Low key in appearance, high key in results. But too many people confuse confidence with arrogance. They think if you're not bragging, you're unsure. If you're not the center of attention, you're lacking something. Let me tell you something. Confidence doesn't need validation. It's built from knowing who you are and what you're capable of without needing applause. When you have it, you don't chase respect, you command it effortlessly. So ask yourself, are you focused on proving yourself to others, or are you mastering yourself in silence? Because true confidence doesn't announce itself, it makes its presence felt. Is it confidence or arrogance? Too many people mix them up, thinking they're the same. But here's the truth. Confidence is built on strength. Arrogance is built on insecurity. The loudest person in the room is often the weakest. The one constantly boasting, seeking approval, needing to be seen, that's not confidence. That's a desperate attempt to cover self-doubt. Confidence doesn't need to make others feel small. Arrogance does. Confidence doesn't need a spotlight. Arrogance craves one. True confidence walks into a room and brings a presence without saying a word. Arrogance enters and demands to be noticed. There's a difference. Think about the most powerful leaders, the most respected figures in history. They didn't beg for attention. They didn't need to prove their worth. They carried themselves with quiet assurance. They spoke when necessary, acted with certainty, and let the results speak for them. Confidence isn't about volume, it's about depth. So the next time someone tries to make you believe that being low-key means being less, remind yourself, strength isn't in the noise, it's in the substance. Confidence is solid, it doesn't shake under pressure. It doesn't crumble when ignored, and it never ever needs to shout to be heard. Confidence is like gravity. You don't see it, but you feel its pull. It doesn't ask for permission, it doesn't beg for recognition, it just is. And just like gravity holds the world together, real confidence holds your life together. It keeps you grounded, it keeps you focused, it keeps you moving forward even when the path isn't clear. Look at the people who inspire you, the ones who lead without forcing control, the ones who influence without demanding attention. They operate on a different level, not because they shout louder, but because they stand stronger. Confidence doesn't need an audience. It works behind the scenes, shaping everything from your decisions to your destiny. The real question is, do you recognize the power of your own presence? Do you understand the force you carry when you move with certainty, without needing constant validation? Because when you do, you stop chasing approval, you stop seeking permission, you step into your power, not with noise, but with undeniable presence. And that's the kind of confidence that changes lives. Who do you think of when you hear the word leader? Is it the loudest voice in the room, the one who commands attention with force, or is it the one who moves with quiet certainty, shaping the world without needing the spotlight? Some of the most powerful figures in history led without noise. Take Albert Einstein. He didn't need to raise his voice or seek approval. His work spoke for itself. His brilliance wasn't in self-promotion, but in silent dedication. He let the depth of his mind lead, proving that true genius doesn't need to be advertised. Look at Rosa Parks. One quiet act of defiance changed history. She didn't give speeches, she didn't shout, she simply refused to move. And that silent resistance echoed louder than words ever could. Consider Warren Buffett, a man who built an empire not through flashy displays, but through calm, calculated decisions. While others chased fame, he focused on value. No noise, no theatrics, just results. What do they all have in common? They never felt the need to prove themselves through words alone. They knew that true power isn't in volume, it's in presence. It's in action. It's in the quiet, unshakable confidence that drives real impact. So ask yourself, are you chasing attention, or are you building something so undeniable that the world will take notice on its own? Imagine a sports car, sleek, powerful, built for speed, but the real power is not in the design, the flashy exterior, or the noise it makes when it accelerates. It's in the engine, the part no one sees, yet the only thing that truly matters. That's exactly how quiet confidence works. You don't have to announce your strength. You don't have to prove it to the world. When confidence is real, it works like that hidden engine, driving your success without unnecessary noise. Look at the most disciplined athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the greatest minds. They aren't out there explaining themselves, proving their worth to every doubter. They're focused, they're working, they're building something bigger than words. Because confidence that relies on external validation is weak. The moment the applause stops, so does the belief. But when your confidence is internal, when it's built like an engine designed for endurance, you become unstoppable. The world respects results, not noise. So the question isn't how can I make people see my confidence, it's how can I strengthen the force that drives me regardless of who's watching. Because once you do that, you'll move faster, further, and stronger without ever needing to shout. Loud confidence fades, quiet confidence lasts. That's the difference. Think about it. How many people talk a big game but never deliver? How many make grand promises but fall short when it's time to act? That's the problem with boastful confidence. It's built on words, not actions. Now compare that to the person who simply gets things done. No hype, no theatrics, just consistent, undeniable execution. Who do people respect more? The one making noise or the one making moves? A lot of people assume that to be successful, you need to be loud, aggressive, constantly proving yourself. But here's the truth. Real confidence doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't collapse when ignored. Look at the workplace. The employee who quietly masters their craft will always outshine the one who brags about their abilities but delivers nothing. In relationships, the person who shows up with loyalty and consistency will always outlast the one who talks a good game but lacks real depth. Confidence isn't about how many people believe in you. It's about how deeply you believe in yourself without needing to convince anyone else. So the next time someone tries to tell you that confidence requires loudness, let them talk. You just keep moving in silence. Because in the end, results will always drown out noise. The world doesn't need another loud voice. It needs more people who stand strong in who they are without needing to be seen, heard, or praised. Confidence isn't about changing who you are to fit a mold. It's about recognizing your own power and owning it. Maybe you're not the loudest in the room. Maybe you don't fight for attention. Maybe you don't need to. Because confidence isn't a performance, it's a presence. And the moment you stop chasing validation, stop trying to prove yourself, stop thinking you need to be something you're not, that's the moment you step into real strength. So embrace it. Stand tall, move with purpose, and let your quiet confidence do all the talking. Does being the loudest in the room mean being the strongest? Or is it just a smokescreen, a cover-up for something weaker beneath the surface? Here's the truth. Volume doesn't equal value. A person who constantly talks about their abilities, their achievements, their dominance isn't necessarily powerful. More often than not, they're performing, trying to convince the world and themselves that they are something they're not. Think about it. A lion doesn't need to roar to prove it's a lion. The strongest structures don't shake, they stand firm. The most valuable gems aren't the ones making the most noise. They're the ones that hold their worth in silence. Now contrast that with people who have real strength. They don't feel the need to prove anything. Their presence speaks for itself. Their work, their results, their actions. All of it does the talking. They don't need to raise their voices because their impact is undeniable. So the next time you see someone trying to dominate a conversation, trying to drown out others, trying to be seen and heard at all costs, ask yourself, is that real confidence or just an illusion? Because true strength doesn't demand attention, it commands respect, quietly. Why do some people feel the need to announce their every move? Why do they overstate their abilities, exaggerate their successes, and try so hard to be seen? The answer is simple: insecurity. Loud confidence isn't confidence at all. It's a cover-up, a fragile mask worn by people who fear being overlooked, who doubt their own worth, who believe that if they aren't loud, they aren't important. But here's the thing, real strength doesn't work that way. Confidence that needs an audience isn't real confidence, it's borrowed. It's propped up by applause, by recognition, by external validation. And the moment that attention disappears, so does the confidence. It's like a balloon, big, noticeable, floating high above the rest, but the inside, empty. The slightest pinprick and it bursts. Meanwhile, real confidence is like a stone, small, unassuming, but solid. No matter what happens, it stays intact. So ask yourself, are you building strength from within, or are you inflating a version of yourself that only holds up when others are watching? Because one of those paths leads to lasting power. The other, it's only a matter of time before it collapses. Noise fades, substance lasts. That's the difference. Think about fireworks. Loud, bright, impossible to ignore. But how long do they last? A few seconds. A burst of energy, a moment of attention, then nothing but smoke. That's exactly what happens to confidence built on noise. It might get people's attention for a moment, but it doesn't last. Now think about something like a lighthouse. It doesn't make noise, it doesn't demand attention, but it stands firm, it guides, it influences, not by forcing itself onto the world, but by simply existing in its full strength. That's the difference between someone who chases attention and someone who builds real influence. One relies on fleeting moments of recognition, the other creates a lasting impact that doesn't need to be announced. So the question is, do you want to be a firework or do you want to be a lighthouse? One burns out fast, the other, it lasts. Standing tall, lighting the way long after the noise is gone. It's time to shift, time to move away from the noise, the performance, the need for external approval, because real power isn't in clamor, it's in clarity. If you want to make an impact, focus on what matters. Work in silence. Build something strong. Let your results speak instead of your words. Because at the end of the day, people don't remember who talked the loudest. They remember who stood firm when it counted. So step back, stop chasing validation, stop believing that confidence is about being seen and heard. True strength, it's quiet, it's steady. And when the noise dies down, it's the only thing left standing. Confidence isn't a personality trait, it's a mindset. It's not something you're born with, it's something you build, shape, and reinforce every single day. So what's the foundation? Belief. Not belief in outcomes, not belief in luck, belief in yourself. Because if you don't trust your own abilities, if you don't see your own worth, nothing else will ever be enough. Think about a tree. Its strength isn't in the leaves, the branches, or even the trunk, it's in the roots. The part buried underground, unseen but holding everything together. That's how your mindset works. If your beliefs are weak, your confidence will always be shaky. But if your beliefs are strong, unshakable, then no storm, no setback, no opinion will ever break you. So ask yourself, what do you believe about yourself? Do you believe you're capable, worthy, and strong? Or do you let doubt dictate your actions? Because confidence starts where hesitation ends. The moment you decide to back yourself fully, to replace doubt with certainty, is the moment everything changes. Because confidence isn't about never failing. It's about knowing that no failure can define you. It's about standing up, showing up, and proving to yourself every single day that you are enough. Why do so many people struggle with confidence? Because they've tied it to the opinions of others. They think confidence comes from applause, from being liked, from hearing good job, but the second that approval disappears, so does their belief in themselves. Here's the truth. If your confidence relies on what other people think, you'll never truly have it. Because people are inconsistent. One day they praise you, the next they ignore you. One moment they lift you up, the next they doubt you. And if your self-worth is tied to that, you'll always be on shaky ground. Real confidence, it doesn't come from approval. It comes from self-infiltration. It comes from knowing your worth regardless of who sees it. Think of a lighthouse. It doesn't flicker just because no one's looking. It doesn't shine brighter for applause. It stays constant, it stays strong. And that's exactly how confidence works. So stop chasing validation. Stop waiting for permission to believe in yourself. You don't need it. The only person who gets to decide your worth is you. Confidence isn't something that happens to you, it's something you control. It's like a thermostat. You set it, you regulate it, and you decide where it stays. Some people treat confidence like a thermometer. They let the outside world dictate how they feel. If people praise them, confidence rises. If people criticize them, confidence drops. They're reactive, constantly adjusting based on external conditions. But the ones who master confidence, they're like thermostats. They set their own internal temperature, and no matter what happens outside, they stay steady. They don't let bad days, negative opinions, or temporary failures shake their foundation. So how do you regulate your confidence? Start by being aware of what influences it. Who are you listening to? What are you telling yourself? What do you focus on? Because if you let negativity take control, your confidence will always fluctuate. But if you actively feed your mind with strength, discipline, and self-belief, you'll create a level of confidence that no setback can break. The question is, are you a thermometer, constantly reacting, or are you a thermostat, setting your own level and refusing to be moved? Because the moment you take control, the moment you stop letting outside forces dictate your belief in yourself, that's the moment you become unstoppable. Confidence isn't built in a single moment. It's built daily through small, consistent choices that strengthen your inner world. Start by asking yourself real questions. Not surface level ones, but deep, uncomfortable ones. What do I fear most? Where does my self-doubt come from? What would I do if I fully believed in myself? Because self-awareness is the first step to change. Then practice silence. Spend time alone with your thoughts, away from distractions. Learn to trust yourself without outside noise. The more comfortable you become in your own presence, the stronger your inner world will be. And finally, act. Confidence doesn't grow from thinking, it grows from doing. Push yourself, take the step even if you're unsure. Move forward even when fear tells you not to, because the more you prove to yourself that you can, the less doubt will have power over you. Mastering confidence isn't about appearing strong, it's about being strong. And strength, it's built from the inside out. Confidence isn't built on what others think of you, it's built on what you know about yourself. And if you don't understand your strengths, your weaknesses, your triggers, and your tendencies, you'll always be standing on unstable ground. The first step to real confidence, self-awareness, knowing who you are and owning it. Start by asking yourself the hard questions. What are my natural strengths? Where do I struggle the most? How do I react under pressure? What habits hold me back? When do I feel most confident and why? Most people never take the time to reflect. They chase confidence externally, hoping that praise, success, or appearance will give them what they lack inside. But confidence doesn't come from the outside, it comes from knowing yourself so well that nothing shakes you. Take time to evaluate yourself without judgment. Observe how you handle challenges, recognize patterns in your behavior. Own your flaws, but don't be ruled by them. When you know yourself inside and out, no one else's opinion can define you. Self-awareness isn't about perfection. It's about clarity, and the clearer you are on who you are, the stronger your confidence becomes. Confidence doesn't always come from what you say, it comes from how you carry yourself and how you engage with the world. Look at truly confident people. They don't fidget, they don't shrink into the background, they stand firm, move with purpose, and control their space without needing to dominate it. Their body language speaks before they even open their mouths. Here's how you do it. Stand tall, shoulders back, chin up. Don't slouch. Your posture alone can shift the way people perceive you. Make eye contact, not in a way that's intimidating, but in a way that shows you're present and engaged. Control your movements. No nervous fidgeting. No rush gestures. Move with intention. But confidence isn't just about presence, it's also about connection. And that's where listening comes in. Most people listen to respond. They're waiting for their turn to talk. But confident people, they listen to understand. They pay attention. They absorb. They don't need to fill every silence with words because they know that presence speaks louder than noise. So practice this. When someone speaks, don't just hear, listen. Give them your full attention. Respond thoughtfully. Because nothing commands more respect than someone who listens with purpose and moves with certainty. Some people talk to fill silence, others talk to be heard, but the most powerful people, they talk only when they have something meaningful to say. Confidence isn't about saying the most, it's about saying the right things at the right time. Think about it. Who holds more power in a conversation? The one who rambles, over-explains and dominates the room, or the one who speaks with precision, using just enough words to make an impact? Here's how you refine your speech. Pause before speaking. Don't rush to respond. Take a second to think. Eliminate fillers, no or unnecessary explanations. Make every word count. If it doesn't add value, don't say it. Speak calmly and steadily. Confidence isn't in the speed of your words, it's in their weight, and most importantly, embrace silence. You don't need to fill every gap in conversation. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. Because real confidence isn't about being heard the most, it's about being remembered for what you say. People assume that confidence and humility are opposites. They're not. In fact, humility is one of the strongest indicators of real confidence. Why? Because the loudest people are often trying to prove something, but the strongest people, they don't need to prove anything at all. Humility isn't about downplaying yourself. It's about knowing your worth without needing to showcase it. It's about staying grounded even when you have every reason to boast. It's about lifting others up instead of demanding the spotlight. Here's how you make humility your strength. Acknowledge your strengths, but don't flaunt them. Let your work speak for itself. Admit when you don't know something. Confidence isn't about pretending, it's about being secure enough to learn. Give credit freely. Confident people don't hoard recognition, they lift others up with them. Stay curious. True confidence comes from knowing you'll never stop growing. In the end, the people who command the most respect aren't the ones who demand attention. They're the ones who move with quiet certainty, who don't need to prove their worth because they already know it. Confidence isn't just about what you build, it's about what you remove. And for most people, the real battle isn't against external obstacles, it's against the internal ones that quietly eat away at self-belief. Let's break them down. Fear, the number one confidence killer. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. It keeps you stuck, convincing you that you're safer playing small. But here's the truth. Fear only has power when you let it stop you. The strongest people feel fear, but they move anyway. Comparison, the trap of measuring yourself against others. Social media, friends, co-workers, everywhere you look, someone is ahead, but their success has nothing to do with yours. Confidence isn't built by competing, it's built by focusing on your own growth. Perfectionism, the illusion that unless something is flawless, it's not worth doing. Perfectionism doesn't push you forward, it paralyzes you. It convinces you to delay, to doubt, to wait for the right time. But confidence isn't about perfect execution, it's about taking action, learning, and improving along the way. So ask yourself, how many of these are holding you back? Because before you can strengthen your confidence, you have to remove what's been quietly destroying it. That voice in your head, the one telling you you're not good enough, that's your inner critic. And if you don't control it, it will control you. Here's how you take your power back. Challenge the thought. When doubt creeps in, don't just accept it, question it. Is this actually true, or is it just fear talking? Most of the time, it's the latter. Reframe failure. Confidence isn't about never failing, it's about seeing failure for what it is. A lesson, not a reflection of your worth. Every misstep is proof that you're growing. Replace negative self-talk. If you constantly tell yourself you're not enough, you'll believe it. Instead, shift the dialogue. I am learning, I am growing, I am capable. Words matter. Make sure yours are building you up, not breaking you down. Take small wins seriously. Confidence isn't built overnight, it's built through small victories. Every time you take action, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that you can. And that proof, that's what silences doubt. Your mind is either your greatest enemy or your greatest ally. Train it to work for you, not against you. Confidence doesn't grow from standing still, it grows from movement, from action, from stepping into the things that once held you back and proving to yourself that you can handle them. But too many people let obstacles paralyze them. They see challenges as stop signs instead of stepping stones. That mindset needs to change. Every challenge you face has two options. It can break you or it can build you. The only difference is how you respond. Fear of public speaking? Start small. Speak in front of a mirror, then a friend, then a group. Feeling inadequate? Stop looking at the entire mountain, take the first step. Then another, then another. Scared to fail? Flip the script. Every failure is another piece of experience that makes you better. Nothing changes until you move. Confidence isn't about waiting until you feel ready. It's about taking action even when you don't. And once you start, momentum follows. So what's holding you back? And more importantly, what small step can you take today to push through it? Confidence isn't built in easy times. It's built when things get tough, when you're tested, when you doubted, when you have every reason to give up but choose to push forward instead. The strongest people aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who refuse to let struggles define them. They get knocked down, but they rise. They face doubt, but they move anyway. They don't rely on motivation, they rely on discipline. And that's the kind of strength no one can take from you. So remember this, the loudest person in the room isn't always the strongest. The strongest is the one who keeps going, quietly, steadily, relentlessly, until the results speak for themselves. Your confidence is yours to build, yours to protect, and most importantly, yours to own. What do you want to be remembered for? Your words? Your actions? The way you carried yourself when no one was watching? Legacy isn't built on noise, it's built on substance. And the people who leave the deepest impact aren't the ones who demand attention. They're the ones who move with quiet certainty, shaping the world through presence, not performance. Think about history's greatest leaders. They weren't chasing approval. They weren't filling spaces with empty words. They focused on what mattered: building, creating, influencing. Their confidence wasn't a show, it was a foundation. That's the power of understated confidence. It doesn't beg for recognition, it earns it. Over time, through quiet, consistent excellence. So ask yourself, are you chasing temporary applause? Or are you building something that lasts? Because when the noise fades, when the crowds move on, only real impact remains. And the ones who create it, they don't waste time proving themselves. They just do the work. Trust isn't built through loud declarations. It's built through quiet consistency, through showing up, through listening, through proving day in and day out that your words match your actions. People don't trust those who talk the most. They trust those who follow through, the ones who don't need to oversell themselves because their reliability speaks for itself. Think about the people in your life whom you truly respect. Are they the ones always making grand promises, or are they the ones who simply do what they say they will? That's the secret to deep, authentic relationships. Understated confidence creates space for real connection. It allows others to feel seen, heard, and valued, not overshadowed by someone else's need to be the center of attention. So if you want to build trust, forget about impressing people. Instead, be the person who listens, who follows through, who stays true to their word. Because when people know they can rely on you, they won't just respect you, they'll stay loyal to you. Loud confidence fades, real confidence lasts. The world is full of people trying to be seen, trying to stand out, trying to make the biggest impact in the shortest time possible. But the ones who actually leave a mark, they don't chase the spotlight. They focus on depth, not display. Think about the difference between a flashy viral trend and a timeless masterpiece. One gets attention for a moment. The other shapes generations. The same applies to people. The ones who rely on spectacle may capture attention briefly, but the ones with real substance build influence that lasts. So the question is, do you want to be loud or do you want to be legendary? Because those who are truly unforgettable aren't the ones making the most noise. They're the ones who bring the most value. And value doesn't need a microphone. It speaks for itself. At the end of the day, the mark you leave on the world won't be measured by how many people noticed you in the moment. It will be measured by how many lives you changed, how many people you uplifted, and how deeply you stayed true to yourself. Understated confidence isn't about shrinking. It's about standing tall without needing to shout. It's about knowing who you are, what you stand for, and carrying that with quiet, unshakable strength. So step forward, not with noise, but with certainty. Move with purpose, build with intention, and let your impact be your voice. Because true confidence doesn't demand recognition, it earns it effortlessly, undeniably, and permanently. We've come full circle from the quiet foundation of self-awareness to the unwavering strength of action. We've explored how understated confidence can transform not just your life, but the lives of those around you. The core of this journey has always been simple. Confidence isn't loud. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't need to prove anything. True confidence is the quiet strength that remains unshaken by noise and distractions. It's rooted in self-belief, a clear understanding of who you are, and the quiet but powerful actions that follow. We've learned that confidence is not about being the loudest or the flashiest in the room. It's about being solid, unwavering, and present without needing to be seen. It's about creating influence, not through performance, but through presence. As you reflect on this journey, ask yourself, where do I need to stop seeking external validation and start building my internal strength? How can I embrace silence, not as weakness, but as the space where true strength grows? How can I begin to take action, not to prove, but to simply be and do my best? This is the essence of understated confidence. Quiet, intentional, and impactful. Now it's your turn to integrate it into your life and let it speak louder than any words could. Now that we've broken down the pillars of understated confidence, it's time to put them into action. This isn't about making grand gestures, it's about building the habits, the mindset, and the daily actions that demonstrate true confidence. Start with self-awareness, make it a habit to reflect on your thoughts, actions, and emotions daily. Understand where your confidence is strong and where it needs work. Use this awareness to guide your actions and decisions. Use your body as a tool. Your body language speaks before you even say a word. Stand tall, hold your head high, make eye contact, be deliberate with your movements, and let them show the world that you are confident without needing to announce it. Embrace silence and active listening. Practice quieting your mind and listening more than you speak. Be present in your conversations. The people around you will value you more when you listen with intent rather than talking just to be heard. Speak with purpose. When you do speak, make sure it counts. Don't rush, speak thoughtfully, and ensure your words have weight. Let your conversations reflect your quiet strength and inner clarity. Face challenges with steadiness. When faced with adversity, stay grounded. Don't let setbacks define you. Move forward with the confidence that you can handle whatever comes your way, knowing that each challenge is a step toward growth. Lead by example. The most powerful leaders don't demand respect, they earn it through their actions. Lead in a way that others can follow, not through force, but through consistency and quiet determination. The more you embody these principles, the more naturally your confidence will shine through, and soon your actions will speak louder than any words ever could. This is your moment to step into the life you were meant to live. A life built not on noise, but on quiet, consistent strength. A life where your impact is measured not by how loud you are, but by how deeply you affect those around you. Understated confidence is a legacy, a quiet, unshakable force that resonates long after the moment has passed. It's the strength to stay true to who you are, regardless of external pressures. It's the wisdom to understand that actions speak louder than words, and that authenticity is the most lasting form of influence. You have the power to build this legacy. The world doesn't need more noise, it needs more people who lead through their actions, who influence through their quiet strength. It needs you. So live quietly, but live with purpose. Live authentically, but with the knowledge that your actions will speak for you. Embrace the power of understated confidence and leave a legacy that will never be forgotten.